So today I received a message from a college women's basketball coach, and they are asking for 2 plaques for 2 players who are leaving, and they need it like yesterday. And so it's going to be a quick turnaround. They're giving me full creative license to do whatever I want, as long as it's got their name and the number on it. And so recently I made this heart wall hanging piece out of a 2x10. And so I'm gonna do the same thing with a basketball, basically. Just round it out, and then I'm gonna put it in the laser engraver and put their name and number on it. And like everything I make, I generally try to use recycled wood, and so that's what I'm gonna use this for. So yeah, let's get started. Right, so I'm gonna use this Vintersaga Ginger Thin Cookies tin from IKEA. And this is about the size I want. You know, it'll work. So basically, I'm just going to trace this onto the 2x. I'm gonna try to avoid this knot. There's 1. And 2. All right. So this is them sanded round on the machine, and I've marked where the lines for the basketball are going to be, and I'm going to do the college logo here, and then the name of the player, and then their number. And I plan on trying to find a stain like unicorn spit or something that's orange but still shows the wood through it. But I took a long time marking these lines, trying to get them perfect, and they're not quite perfect, I feel like. And yeah, I was going to use the Dremel, but I don't think I can get the lines this perfect on the Dremel. What I think I'm going to do is call one of my friends who has a laser machine that has a camera in it where you can place you know, your piece and have your image placed perfectly on the piece, because with my laser machine we don't have a camera in it, and so it would be absolutely incredibly hard to get these lines exactly where I want them on the ball. So yeah, hopefully I can get to them over this weekend and we can, use their laser machine. All right, so I went and got this unicorn spit gel stain. It's orange, obviously, but it's the closest color orange that I wanted, or that I could find at the craft store. And I was really torn between, okay, is this really just orange paint? Because it is water-based. You know, it's almost a quarter of the price if I were to just get acrylic orange paint. Because I did the hearts with acrylic paint, and I like, you know, I watered it down a bit so it washes it and you can see the grain through it. And so I did this with acrylic paint. So I was like, well, can't I just do the same thing? But this was like $13 or $14, and orange acrylic paint would have been like $3 or $4. Oh, that looks pretty cool. I mean, does it look like orange paint? Yes. So it doesn't say that you wipe it off. So we will see. I'll wipe half of it off and I'll leave the other half and let it dry. But yeah, it just says no pre-treating, test a small area. Apply it with a brush, foam pad, or other tools. Spray surface lightly with water to maintain workability on a large surfaces. Once it's dry, use the glaze coat. Yeah, it does not say anything about wiping it off. Oh, that looks nice. I think I am gonna wipe it. Look at that. As opposed to that. We'll see how it looks in, 30 minutes or whatever, but that looks pretty darn good, I have to say. Wow. There's no like chalkiness or like, I mean, it's just a smooth staining into the wood. Wow. Okay, maybe it was worth the money. So, the unicorn spit, this is the part that I wiped after a couple minutes. This is the part I let stay on there. And if you look close, you can kind of see the brush marks, and resembles acrylic paint, and that is not what I want. I want it to look more like that, and I might do 2 of these applications. But anyway, I'm kind of impressed with it, to be honest. I don't know, maybe that's just the coffee talking. Alright, that one's done. Ah, you know what? It just hit me. The jasmine scent. Wow. Come on now. Don't want any brush marks. Got all the edges. Okay. It's pretty good to me. I'm packing it all up, going to a friend's house. Check out these old Ben Franklin Crafts shopping baskets. That's great. Just got back from my friend's house not too long ago, and it did not go well. It did not go well at all. All I needed to do was put 3 lines for the basketball. We placed it exactly where I wanted it on the camera, and we went to burn it, and it was way off. This is how the lines came up. I cried inside just a little bit. This R right here, for some reason, it really concentrated its laser beam. And this part's pretty deep. It's pretty deep in there. So I'm gonna attempt to sand this and then re-stain it with this orange unicorn spit. But I don't think I'm gonna be able to get that part smooth enough. So I'm probably gonna have to start over. We'll see. this easier to sand, I'm gonna put 2 screws back in so I can hold it by the screws on the back. Alright, so I'll put these screws in so I can just hold it by the screws and sand it like that. It wasn't too bad. So here's what I got. It came out. So that was the benchtop sander. You could tell I still have to do a lot of sanding, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and hot glue it to my workbench and then sand it with the orbital sander. At my friend's house, I think she kind of felt bad because the basketball messed up. She was trying to, like, I have this and I have that, offer me all these different other alternative options for this. And one of the things that she did have, because I decided I'm going to put this on a plaque, okay? This is what I'm thinking anyway. But she made me, it's just a metal piece. She laser burned the name and number. I gotta cut it in half and kind of round over the edges. Hopefully I can do that without messing it up. But I think that looks pretty legit, you know, like a real trophy or whatever. So I just gotta cut it in half. Alright, so now I get to cut the names out of this metal piece. So I'm going to cut them in half and then round the edges a little bit, probably on my sander or with a fingernail type file. I'm using my giant scissors. So I can just do it in one clip. Hopefully we'll see how good or not I do this. Alright, so that looks about middle. Here goes nothing. Got it pretty rounded. That one looks good. I think that's usable. I think it's done. Yay. So here is my middle. So I'm gonna draw the middle line first. So it was during this time that the paint pen decided to leak. Thanks, paint pen. That's why I didn't... It was looking so good, too. Fudge, sickle. And there was no fixing that. Other than resanding again. This time, I'm gonna go ahead and try it in my own laser machine. See what happens. All right, let's see. Doesn't look bad. Nice. I worked hard on getting it centered as perfect as I could, and I am pretty happy with how that turned out. I'm gonna extend the lines now that I have most of it perfect, I can now extend it to the edges of the ball. All right, so I'm back at the bench. I have had quite the time with these basketballs. So originally, I had brought them to a friend's house because their laser machine has a much bigger surface area. Even though they had a camera on theirs, it ended up being off. Don't know how. So I just said, okay, I'm gonna bring them home, sand it, and try another way. And one of the paint markers dripped black all over it, so I had to sand it again. So I've sanded these down a few different times. I was about to go into plan B, and I was like, let me try it one more time in my machine, and I'll do the lines to the limit of the surface area that it will burn, and then I will extend it the rest by hand. As long as most of it's perfect, I wouldn't have as big of a problem just extending the lines the way they're going. We'll see, because I have not done that yet. I also tried a few different paint markers. I really like the Sharpie paint markers, but I found that when I sprayed the clear coat over top of it, it would start bleeding. You could see it wasn't as sharp. It didn't bleed terribly, but you could kind of see it fanning out, and it wasn't as sharp. And tried another type of paint marker, then I tried regular Sharpie, and all of them bled with the clear coat spray I'm going to use. The markers that did not bleed with this particular clear coat and this unicorn spit was the Posca markers, and these are acrylic based. Let's pray to God that I don't mess this up, because it will be kind of easy to mess up this line. I'm a little nervous, and I have to like concentrate 100%, so I might stop recording, or I'll just try to forget that I'm on camera. Yeah, well, here goes nothing. They're due tomorrow, so I gotta do it now, or yeah, here it goes. Okay. So I just did one side of it. That's how it looks. I don't think that looks bad. That is close to perfect. It's not perfect, but it is very, very close to perfect. Whew. Now I just gotta do this other side. All right, that's it. That's all the lines. Now I just gotta hope I can get the unicorn spit to cover some of these mess ups. All right, so here they are. After I drew the lines on them last night and touched up the stain, I'm pretty happy with how they came out. So I went to the big box store this morning and got matte clear. So that's what I'm going to use, because basketballs aren't really shiny. So I'm going to sand those parts a little more, and then I'm going to spray it with the clear coat. So this is the matte finish. A little shiny. I could knock that down, but I'm pretty happy with it. I think it's good. And so now we just gotta attach them to the base and glue these nameplates on and call it a day. All right, so what I'm gonna do, if the tape pulled a little bit off here, but I'm going to drill 2 screws in the back to really hold the balls to this piece. And I'll sink the screws in a little bit, but I think that will be our best bet. I'm also gonna use a little CA glue to get that started as well, and a combination of CA glue and basically PVA glue to let it stay flush, and the CA glue to keep it on there permanently. That's what I think I'm going to use for these. So now we're doing the nameplates. And I am going to mark the center